I now have the pleasure to introduce our PhD scholar, Mr. Saikumar. He will be presenting his research work, thesis titled Nanomaterials, Augmented, Microfluidic Point of Source chemiluminescence platform. The scholar has been guided by accomplished team of supervisors, Professor Sanket Goyal from Pilani Hyderabad Campus, Professor Srinivasan from Pilani Dubai Campus, Professor Sushant Mitra from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Waterloo Institute of Nanotechnology, Canada. Thank you all for joining. Now I request Pavar's Saikumar to present his thesis. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm words. I also thank my supervisor, Sanket Goyal sir, and also I thank Sushant Mitra sir for joining, also Sunil Burn sir, and Professor Mohammad Ali, and Satish Kumar Dubey sir, and my external examiner, Professor Ritu Gupta from ITL. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for joining. So I'll just present my slides. I hope my slides are visible. And also thank you to all the participants over here. So today I am presenting my PhD title, Nanomaterials Augmented Microfluidic Point of Source chemiluminescence platform. And I introduced to my co-supervisors, Professor Srinivasan, ex-director of Pilani Dubai Campus, and Professor Sushant Mitra, Executive Director of University of Waterloo, Canada. And my direct members, Professor Arshad Javed from Mechanical Department, and Professor Punalabu RM from Critical Department. My supervisor, Professor Sanket Goyal. Moving forward, this is the outline of the thesis. So I introduce you to the thesis, and then followed by the importance of nanomaterials and the process of the synthesis, followed by the prototypes that I developed and segregated them as platform 1.0, platform 2.0 and platform 3.0, followed by the conclusions and future scope of this thesis. Moving forward, in introduction to thesis, we'll cover background and motivation, what is chemiluminescence, role and need for nanomaterials, existing challenges and the objectives that came from challenges. So this question is very common. Do you love eating? Obviously everyone tells yes, but how about the healthy eating? And it should also be yes. Followed by the commonly consumed things are veggies, milk, tea. So these are the common things. So but what if somebody identifies them as these are the adulterated products that we are consuming every day? And then the second question, do you love to be healthy, converts to, are you really healthy? So then this question we should ask every day. Followed by, how do you quantify them? Are you really healthy? So whenever we go to any hospital or any clinic, the first thing is we look after some biomarkers that are present in our body. And then from there, each biomarker indicates each specific problem or disease in the body. And moving forward, so this is not something a small cause. It has a seriousness in this, because if you see, the adulteration is happening at very high rates because of the increased population and increased demand for the food. If you see, these are the recent news that are covered in Hyderabad and all around in India. The adulteration starting from ice creams even to paneer that we consume every day. And followed by, when you look after this scenario, and then see, this is the case that not only the aged people that are having cardiac arrest, but even the children, the 15 years age old children are even affected with this cardiac arrest. The primary reason is the oxidative stress. So this can be due to the working environment, but the major effect comes from the intake of food. And then, so we are not telling that there are no instruments that are detecting, but there are a couple of instruments. Following with food analyzer and hematology and dry chemistry analyzer, there are many instruments. And then followed by, there are few methodologies also exist, like spectroscopy, colorimetry, fluorescence. So these are all primarily used techniques for the quantification of the analytes that I was mentioned. But if you see, the limitations are, first is the accessibility. So how well we can access the things. followed by the scale labor, testing time, affordability, maintenance, customizability. So these are the existing real challenges that everyday people are facing. And then the limitations of these methodologies are, again, we need bulk accessories, and there are background noises of this, and you need the sensitivity, specificity, and the usage type, and there are other associated also. So what we are looking for in this thesis is we need a solution that is coupled with a potential methodology and a platform technology. If we couple them together, then we can get an on-site affordable detection system. So this can be our point of source detection system. Moving ahead, the solution should not be again a problem to the as an engineer. So we try to take up the natural source, the bioluminescence. The picture shows is the firefly, which is illuminating the light. So from here we have artificially taken the use of chemicals. The advantage of this is there are a few advantages. I'll just cover in the couple of next slides. And then if this nature mimic chemiluminescence is coupled with the point of care system, then whatever we are looking for is achieved, the on-site detection system. And the benefits of chemiluminescence are it is portability, or we can use this device at remote locations at ease, and then it is highly sensitive, 10 to 100 times compared to fluorescence. Detection range is high, even we can go to picomolar level of limit of detections, and it is environmental friendly, and the results can be achieved in milliseconds of time. So there are a couple of various advantages too. So moving ahead, so when we have gone through the literature, these are the existing CL indicators and the CL initiators. So starting with luminol and hydrogen peroxide, this is like A plus B gives to the reaction C. So this kind of scenario, 1:1, 2:2, 3:3, so that kind of reaction. For example, so A plus B are reactants, and then when they are interacting, it reaches to an intermediate state. So that is when they are coming, when they are losing their energy. So they release the energy as well as the photons, and these photons are the luminescent signals that we are capturing. And now if you see the signals that are capturing are faint. Okay, this C indicates the faint signal, and this faint signal is captured by the existing devices using photomultiplier tubes, charge coupled devices, photodiodes. So there are a couple of instruments as well. And then if you introduce a catalyst into this, so this catalyst can be your nanoparticles and MMNE at quantum dots, and it increases the C. It quantifies and increases the CL signal, and followed by when you combine this with the system, it can completely become a point of care affordable system, right? So this data part gives the information of the type of catalyst, the synthesis approach, and the instrument that have been used, and what is the limitation that I found from the literature. If you go in the first literature, the synthesis approach is hydrothermal, again it's a batch wise. Similarly, the instrumentation is a bulky instrumentation, right? Even in the recent publications also they are using the same instrumentation. Similarly, in this, catalyst is quantum dots followed by pyrolysis and again a CL detector. Similar kind of research has been happening. So again the catalyst is gold nanoparticles followed by approaches shipment method, and again a microplate reader. So in this case again it is reduced graphene oxide. Further again a controlled batch-wise production synthesis approach, and then again a conventional instrument. So the research is only focused on the material growth and doing it in the laboratory and completing the study. So there is no scope for moving forward. So from there we have framed our objectives like first to design and develop a platform, followed by to use the to synthesize the nanomaterials in a more non-conventional approach, so not in a batch process, so that the process is sustainable. Followed by integrating the sensitive sensors into the system so that the faint to faint signals can be captured. Followed by a complete system where it can do image processing, capture, and all on the remote locations. With this, I just introduce you all to the process flow that I have carried throughout this thesis. So we have the luminophore and oxidizer all the time, and then due to the reason of this faint signals, the limiting factor is the using of conventional instruments, and this cannot be gone through the remote locations, and it is highly inaccessible. Further, the solution that we have found is adding the external enhancers and making our own point of source detection platforms, combining all this to lead a remote accessible point of care, point of source system. Moving ahead, I introduced to the non-conventional approach or the synthesis approach that have been followed. So first, I'll start with the conventional and very well-known graphene derivative, that is reduced graphene oxide material. So first is the process takes the help of a simple paper, a Workman filter paper, and then we are coating the fire retardant solutions on the top of it. So the reason is to prevent the ignition temperatures of the paper, followed by then we are using a low cost and very affordable blue diode laser system over here to produce the graphene pattern. And so we are producing this based on the optimized power and speed settings of the laser. Followed by the characterization data. So we have obtained the material and then we have carried to the characterization information. One is starting with XRD, and the 27.8 degrees shows the presence of reduced graphene oxide. Followed by the same images shows the fibrous patterns, and the UVS shows the N to pi star transitions. FTIR for the functional groups, and then the high resolution TEM images. Followed by the Raman, it shows the proper 2D curves, and the XPS spectra to indicate the chemical composition. And we have found the C11C, OCC, and C11 groups. Followed by the characterization, so we have tested the patterns, the flexible patterns on paper for the conductivity analysis. So we have found that it is as low as 23 ohms. And then the inherent property of reduced graphene oxide, any graphene derived material is they are hydrophobic, and we have used this hydrophobic property to detect, or not to detect, but to use it as an oil water separation process. And also we have and also maybe I'm showing you this. So this is a conventional like a paper based touchpad that we have produced. And the results are shown in using the Arduino control. And this is one more study where oil water separation, as I informed, the inherent property of reduced graphene oxide is being used over here. So this study is a proof of principle to use the graphene material into the chemiluminescence. So this is the proof of principle that we have. And then with this we have a publication and a patent. And to summarize here, the production process is automated laser ablations, and methodology is photothermal reduction with a shear resistance of 23 ohms. Moving forward with the next material, silver nanoparticles. So if you see the amount of the quantity that we are showing in the images is we can produce in bulk. Again, this is one more sustainable process that we have developed in this PhD thesis. So starting with, so here we have taken the advantage of microfluidics. As we all know, microfluidics is very advantageous because the control of the reactions is very high in the case of microfluidics when compared to the conventional synthesis approach. Starting with the fundamental equations are being leveraged to understand the microfluidic, the flow, starting with Reynolds number and Peclet number, and these have been incorporated in my simulations, also in the device application. Starting with when we are optimizing the process, we will start playing with the single plane microfluidic system, starting with one layer. So this is one layer, two layer, and then starting with 3, 4 layers. So the reason is, the more the mixing happens, the higher chances are there that the material is stable for longer period, because the agglomeration should be stopped. The reagent that should be consumed before putting that material to be to age. Okay. So this is the device that I am showing here in the video. So this is a simple almost 25 mm cross 25 mm device. So this can produce the nanoparticles at high flow rates of 2 mm per minute. So this is the video that I have. So this shows the synthesis of silver nanoparticles, the sustainable process, and this shows the synthesis of gold nanoparticles. And these both are highly catalytic. They can be used for multiple applications. And here I am using this for my luminescence enhancements, again to increase the sensitivity of my signals. And to begin with the optimizations, so initially I started with the flow rate optimizations, understanding the flow rate and the reaction rate, and from here each time I have been doing the UV visible characterization to understand the electronic transition states. And then the second graph shows the flow rate optimization of reagent, that is silver nanoparticle precursor. And the next graph shows the flow rate optimization of the reducing agent, sodium borohydrate. And here the concentration studies of silver nitrate and also the concentration studies for sodium borohydrate. Finally, we have we have fixed with the 15 millimolar or 20 millimolar of NaBH4 and 0.5 millimolar of silver nitrate. So these are the dynamic light scattering images to understand the particle size and how well they are distributed. So for now we have a range, so we have a good control on the particle size as well. So depending on the need of particle size, we can tune the process. So this is the FDSM analysis images. And as I'm mentioning, the console simulations, just to understand the reaction between the A and B. Let's say initially our concentration is 20 millimolar, the green line, this one, at this end. And if you see the cut line over here, the red line, this cut line. At this position, the 20 millimolar has already come down to 4 millimolar or 4.5 millimolar on an average. And the 0.5 millimolar of silver nitrate is almost went to zero after this much of distance. It means that almost half of this red cut line, but it is at the junction. And when we see at the end of the outlet, of the fourth layer, we can understand that both are almost 0.05. It means that there is nothing left to age. So this is the advantage of microfluidics. So it is properly controlled. And I must say, the stability was almost 2 years till today. They are stable, and they are being used now in enhancing the CL signals. So if you see the, so we have played with the volumes of reagent lumino-4 and the silver nanoparticles. So we have observed that at 1:2 volumetric concentration, we have seen the intensities are bright and these are sensitive, and these can withstand up to 30 minutes. That is one of the good achievement that we got. And followed by summarizing this chapter. One is automated microfluidics driven technology that we have created in this. The methodology is chemical reduction in microfluidics, and as I mentioned, stability is more than 1.5 years. So it is, and then the zeta, the stability is fall in the range of -40 to 60 millivolt. And the signals that we have enhanced is almost 1300%. And moving ahead, now the time has come to showcase the prototypes that I have developed in this journey. So starting with, so initially we wanted to play with the nanoparticles and nanomaterials, but how about without nanoparticles can be enhanced? So this was the one question that we are having. And with this, we moved ahead. With this doubt, we moved ahead to use some technology called as onsite heating. So I'll explain that. But before that, again, when you make a prototype, it should be affordable first of all, and it should be accessible. To make it affordable, we have used a simple micropad paper-based devices. So if you see this micropads, so these are just made on filter paper of grade 1, and we have used 3D printing to make the micropads here. And followed by our device, or our thought at the initial stage was very crude. We were very crude at the beginning. So we have just created a prototype for a smartphone-based thing. So we have started with a simple reservoir kind of thing where we can put a micropad into this, and we have the, as I told, on-site heating. So to do that, we have created our own heater using the carbon ink, and then we have connected a voltage supply just to power it up, so that it can get due to the Joul's law, we get the heat. So this is how the final prototype was looking. So we have a input output, and then inside there's a micropad, and then that used to be exactly covered, like captured by a smartphone. And then as we have noticed, so when we are doing the same reaction in the dark room, so we were somewhere close to 40 arbitrary units of signal, and then this was increased to almost 160 arbitrary units only because of the on-site heating. So here, so our increment is 255%, not more than the nanoparticles usage, but still we have found something very new, very different from the literature. So that at this temperature, the radical activity is increased, and thereby the signals are increased. And this is the decay, how it is decaying with respect to time. Followed by these are the reagent optimizations for the lumino-4 and the catalyst cobalt. And then this is for the, so we have done this study to monitor the hydrogen peroxide levels. and that too in the milk. So in milk actually, so there's a food adulteration is happening in milk because H2O is used as a preservative, and it falls somewhere in this range. So we have detected a wide linear range. So normal range is 10 to 30 micromolar in blood and 0.04 to 0.05% in milk. And these are the specificity and reproducibility studies that we have made. So the signals are not interfering with the compounds, it is only reacting with the peroxides. And the contributions to this are, one is we are able to detect the H2O in milk samples, and other thing is the methodology, which was new, and also the sensitivity was increased by 55%, and it is potable. Followed by the second prototype. Actually, so as I introduced, this is the crude device that we have made initially. So we wanted to upgrade it. So we have moved on to finding the limitations on our own device and moved to platform 2.0. So in this, the graphene material. So in the literature, the graphene is considered as the quencher of the luminescence signals. But graphene can be used as a sensitive matrix where you can put your analytes onto the matrix, so that the carboxylic groups that are present in the reduced graphene oxide can be told the analytes. And then the methodology is almost same. We have used the on-site heating methodology. And then, so we have upgraded the device a little bit, where we have added the controller, the temperature controller, and then the proper fluid inlets and proper heating mechanisms. And then we have used this in micropads. Followed by, this is how the methodology works. So compared to normal micropad, the increase in the concentration will increase the density of the graphene or reduced graphene oxide on the micropads. And then back to it, there is a aluminum foil so that the transfer is proper. And then in this, the methodology is the Kret phenomena. So Kret is nothing but the adjacent molecules. When the luminescence is given out, the adjacent molecules have the tendency that they can also observe this luminescence and they can also show their luminescence activities. So this is the Kret phenomena. So followed by, when we have started with the reduced graphene oxide as the first optimization for temperature-based studies. So we have seen that at particular 70 degrees we are getting almost the saturated signals over here with the concentration variation. And then, so this technology, later we have found that this can also have the potential to categorize the material, whether it is tending to be reduced graphene oxide or whether it is pure graphene. So this can also be possible with CL now. So if you see over here, so this green shows the signals at normal temperature, at the normal room temperature, and this shows at the optimized 70 degrees Celsius. So if you see, there is a change from 40 to around more than 160. Similarly, from around 30-35 to around between 120 to 160. So this is how the recovery we have able to achieve. So the recovery is happening because the carboxylic groups that are there on the matrix of the reduced graphene oxide were converting into the free radicals, and these free radicals are again important in CL to generate the more intensity signals. And again, we have tested with the flash graphene and also the laser-rich graphene. And I should thank Professor James Tour over here because we have obtained this material from Professor James Tour, who is the inventor of the laser-induced graphene. And then this graphene, laser-induced graphene, is produced in our lab. Followed by, if you see, we can compare, there is no change almost in the concentrations in the pure graphene kind of thing. But if there is an addition of oxygen or the increase in the carboxylic groups, so we see the drop in signals and we see the recovery percentage also. Followed by, the mechanism is very simple, as I explained previously. The carboxylic groups that are present on the reduced graphene oxide are highly active, contributing to more signal, and vice versa with the graphene, pure graphene. Similarly, the XPS data shows the amount of oxygen that is present in all the three different materials, starting with 13% oxygen in reduced graphene oxide, and the reduced oxygen content in flash graphene 8%, and in laser reduced graphene it is almost 6%. And then, so we have now understood that the radicals are acting on the material, and then how to validate this. Again, let's say whoever consumes a green tea, so green tea is considered as the rich in antioxidants, right? So now antioxidant has a property that it can take over the free radicals that are generated, and even that is the reason that green tea is being consumed, like, suggested to consume every day. So we have used this strategy from the green tea, and then we have performed this study for wide linear range. So we have seen increase in the concentration of catechins will decrease the CL intensity. And we have tested this for two real-time samples of two major brands in India. And then we have found that the Lipton-based green tea is more effective than the organic India brand. But I'm not commenting on anything on this. So still we can see based on the color, generally a user drinks green tea based on the color. So if you see the darker color and high tendencies, a person chooses the darker color and they will leave the lighter color. But in actual, the color is not the indicator. And then we have done the specificity and reproducibility studies. Followed by this work, again, we are lucky enough to reach to the media. So our work is been reported in Times of India only. And summarizing this work, so we have detected antioxidants in green tea samples. Methodology is correct and carboxylic radicals. Followed by our recovery percentages were 1440%, which is very high. And it is 44 again. And again, we have found that there are a couple of limitations again in the platform 2.0. So we wanted to again improve the platform 2.0 to platform 3.0 with several changes here. So maybe I'm showing it in the video again. So if you see this device, so now it is a full pack chemiluminescence chip. So in this, so previously our micropad was just kept on the surface of heater and it was the heat distribution was a problem for us. Now we have created a groove kind of thing and everything is set over here because microfluidic channels are also incorporated into the chip, where once you pass the fluid or the sample, it can directly spray on the micropad, which is constrained now, and there is no movement of micropad also. And then it can have it has a heater onto the back and also a sensor onto the back. So this is how the complete prototype looks. So maybe again I'm showing it in a video. So this is how the complete prototype looks, and then it can take up the smartphone. And with the change in smartphones, you just need to change the holder of this. So by changing the holder, you can put a different smartphone. This is one thing. And moving ahead, so here I just wanted to take 1 minute to show this video. And again, it can directly take up the power from smartphone, and also it can record the data to smartphone. So these are the pumping units, and these were manual. Again, this is a limitation that we have covered in the next future plan. Once you put the micropad and we have temperature also. And this is how the signals are being captured. So once you load the analyte and followed by you from the syringe. So these are the bright signals that we are able to capture. And then we can quantify it using the software. Followed by this is again an automated code that we have generated so that the intensity can be captured within seconds. Moving forward, so the mechanism here, the device was highly sensitive. We understood that it is sensitive, and then we wanted to do something really challenging. So we have targeted a bioenzyme, alkaline phosphatase, which is very crucial biomarker in the human body. It can take up the changes. It can changes in the kidney or liver, even in bones. And the mechanism is very simple. So we use the micropad, coatings on the micropad, and followed by the reagent coatings and followed by the LP coatings. So we see the change in signal, again the drop in signal. And the mechanism is the ascorbic acid phosphate. The groups of phosphate are broken with the help of enzyme ALP, and then when they interact, when it is broken, the free ascorbic acid is free, and it is interacting with the luminophore, and it quenches the signal. So it means that more the content of ascorbic acid, more the signal quench. So it is indirectly quantifying the concentrations of alkaline phosphatase. And followed by, we moved on to the optimization studies, starting with the ascorbic acid phosphate group. We have started from 1 millimolar to 100 millimolar and found 10 millimolar is fine. And again, the incubation studies, since it is an enzyme based study, so we have used 37 degrees, and the optimization for time period, how much time it is taking to optimize. And we have kept the temperature at 37 degrees. And so we have obtained a wide range calibration curve, followed by the linear curve. So the normal range in human body is around 40 to 150 unit per ml. So but we have a wide range from 0 almost to 200 unit per liter. And then these are the selectivity and reproducibility studies. So we have found only with the presence of alkaline phosphatase it is interacting. However, with other there is no interaction much. And then this study we have done almost real-time studies with 3 blood groups of our colleagues, and I thank them, Ritesh and Manish. And then these are the clinical found data that we have obtained at the our own medical center over here. And these are the data that are being captured in the device. And then it has an error of almost, if you keep all together, it's not more than 5%. And then the contributions are, we have detected ALP in human serum samples, and the methodology is interaction between alkaline phosphatase and ALP, and the quenching mechanism. And now the system is completely standalone, and it is portable. And coming to the conclusions and future scope of my thesis, so I'll give a thesis summary and what are the weaknesses that I found and what is the space that is still available to improve, and references, research output, published work, conferences, patents, and work out by media. The thesis summary is starting with nanoparticles or nanomaterials, the non-conventional approach again, the flexible, the reduced graphene oxygen paper, and followed by the microfluidic driven silver nanoparticles, and the platform 1.0 for peroxide detection in milk, platform 2.0 for cation detections in tea samples, platform 3.0 for alkaline phosphatase detection in human serum samples. And the future scope is, so now whatever we have seen is manually we were loading the analyte, or manually we were initiating the reaction. So from this we have developed a standalone Raspberry Pi based system where the complete system is integrated with camera and also the chip. Everything is now fixed inside, and then so we try to capture the again the new chemiluminescence signals, and also we have used the same device for initiating the fluorescent signals as well. Followed by we have done some studies on malaria detection, malaria parasites, and I should thank Professor Ashish Das over here. And then the future scope of the microfluidic driven is we started working with gold nanoparticle synthesis, and then the same can be used for obtaining the graphene derivatives in microfluidics. And these are the some of my publications as first author. And similarly, thank you to all my co-authors. And these are my patents, and I thank Professor Sanket sir for the patent that is granted. Again, these are my conference work and the work covered by media. And these are the review comments by Professor Ritu Gupta. Ma'am, can you see?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very nice presentation. So, Dr. Sanket.
Okay, ma'am, I'll just complete this and maybe sir.
Yeah, sure, please.
Thank you. And now it is a time for acknowledgements. And as someone already told that if there is no good mentor, then the journey becomes too much difficult. And then I should thank, in this case, I have a soft and smooth journey over here. And I should thank my supervisor, Professor Sanket Goel sir, and also my co-supervisors, Professor Srinivasan sir and Professor Sushanta Mitra from Waterloo. And I thank Professor Ritu Gupta and Professor Tariqul Islam, and my DAC members, Dr. Rashid Javed sir, Kunal ma'am, HOD, DRC, and CAL Lab, Pilani Hyderabad Campus for giving me this space. And also I thank the international collaborators, Professor James Stowe, Professor Markandeya Raj, and also core investigators of MMNE Lab, Satish sir, Arshad sir, Sahu sir, Kunal ma'am, and also Shrikant sir, and to all my seniors, all my co-authors, and colleagues from MMNE lab. And also, I thank my funding agencies, ICMR Research for malaria detection and chemiluminescence, and Tata Steel for the graphene work. And also, I thank my ICMR project supervisors, Professor Ashish Das sir and Professor Sunil Bhan sir, and my supporter from my MTech, Professor Shilpa Saikumar. And also now I should thank also my friend, and also my family members. And then I believe that maybe after this I might enough sufficient to get the title. But before that, I just introduced this. So this was dream date almost 4 years back. I was just in MTech, not even the last semester. And I should thank my friend, she's over here. Thank you for your belief. And thank you to the entire lab. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you very much, Sai. I think I would request Professor Gupta from IIT Delhi to start directly. Sai, whatever questions you might have.
Okay. So Sai, a very nice presentation. I have few questions, so I will first start with some basic questions. Okay.
Yes.
You are able to hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so maybe first is you have done a lot of work on chemiluminescence, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you differentiate between fluorescence and chemiluminescence?
Yes. So actually, in the case of fluorescence, there is an initiator. So generally, what happens? The input wavelength and the output wavelength are different in the case of fluorescence. So let's say if you initiate the molecule with somewhere around 360 nanometers, and the output can be at 420 or 500. So to keep it simple, fluorescence requires an initiator to get the signals out as an output, and the decay time is also high in the case of fluorescence. But coming to chemiluminescence, it's a spontaneous reaction, and it does not need any initiator as of light or intensity, but it has particular chemicals. Only those are sufficient to initiate the CL signal.
Okay, so how is the mechanism, like what makes it spontaneous?
Yes. So, ma'am, if you see the singlet states and the triplet states, so when the electrons are jumping from the ground state to the virtual state, so actually when they are coming back to the ground state, the excited electrons, so they are not going back to the triplet states and coming. So this is a direct jump, so direct from the valency to the ground state. So this is the only difference between fluorescence and this. So the prolonged decay is fluorescence, and the immediate decay is the luminescence.
Okay. Good. So now you prepared different platforms for particularly studying chemiluminescence, right?
Yes.
So starting from your chapter 1, you showed carbon pads which you created, right? So how, like you said, you quoted some solution, FR solution, right?
Yes.
So what is it? Can you just explain it little more?
Okay. So, ma'am, generally this is being used in the industries like cloth and textile industries. This prevents the ignition of the ignition. Actually, it prevents ignition temperature. That is, the volatility of that material is being prevented. So in this, we have the borax and boric acid as the composition. Again, this is mostly used as the mostly used in the fire extinguishers also. The same is being used over here to prevent the volatility of the paper.
So it doesn't add any contamination on the carbon pads that you produce?
We have
Like does it participate?
No, we have the
Or is it like you're washing it out afterwards?
No. So we have the contamination of sodium as a byproduct, but when we ignite with the laser, so these are converted to gaseous phase and they are being eliminated actually. So we have found out this from the XPS. Yeah, if you see over the full spectrum, so we have the sodium and boron 1s as the minor quantities. So they are not more than 0.5%, I guess.
Okay. Okay, just stay back there on the characterization what you were showing.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how do you compare? So, is it like RGO or graphite?
It is reduced graphene oxide.
How do you differentiate between them?
Ma'am, if you see the functional groups, the OH and the functional groups that are present in the in the RGO are not present in the graphite base, because graphite has no the functional groups of OH or the ketone groups. So that are present in the reduced graphene oxide.
Okay. Do you know the difference in Raman of graphite and RGO?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, to keep it simple, in any of the carbon-based materials, so we have this G peak is a common, and then followed by, depending on the defects or the broken edges, so we get the D peak, and followed by, due to the second degree transition, so we get this 2D peak. And I hope maybe graphite doesn't have this 2D, and also the change in the wave number. These are the changes.
Very good. So, my next question is how you are doing CL intensity measurements
Yeah.
experimentally?
Maybe like in most of the cases, all the cases mostly, so we have used the smartphone as the capturing mechanism. So and then the images have been captured. Sorry, if I put it like a video has been captured in the GIF format, and then this is being characterized by images software, which is an open source tool.
And then how do you take care of ambient light conditions?
Yes. So maybe if you see all the devices, so they are being set in such a way that all the background light is being prevented. All the devices are printed in black color, and also we have verified it that with taking the signals before initiating the luminescence also. So once we take up the data and then we get the background signal, so that will be more because since there is no intensity from CL or there is no intensity from atmosphere or environmental light entering into the device, so our signals are almost close to 0 to 3 arbitrary units. So this will not affect us much.
Okay, so now if somebody uses this as a device and everybody will have a different cell phone camera, right?
Correct.
So is there any correction that you do in the images which takes care of different instrumentation? And also, like when I say ambient light condition, like if there is a tilt in the, though you are already taking a device which takes care of tilt, I understand. Okay, but still, like, are there any factors which will introduce error in your measurements? And also, I observed like you have a good error bar in your CL intensities at many places. So, what is introducing those error bars?
Yes. Actually, as I told, these are the human errors, because we are handling the solutions not automatically with the human intervention. So that is the reason these errors are coming. And these are also not much. And also to the second question, like we agree that when you change the smartphone, there is a change in the intensity values. But we are pretty sure that we have tried with different mobiles also. The magnitude might change, but not the calibration curve. The trend will not change with the intensity. And also we have found that this limitation is there. So that is the reason we moved on to developing a standalone device in our future scope. So this device, maybe I'll show the device. And can you see it in the video?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. So this device is completely standalone now. So there is no change of camera or smartphone. So it has an inbuilt camera system. So now it is integrated fully. So there will not be any.
So this is a standalone camera.
Yes, ma'am. It has a Raspberry Pi camera inside.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is how we have overcome that shortcoming.
Okay, good. Fine. So Then another question is like you showed, for example, application of carbon pads for oil water separation.
Yes.
It's oil water or something else?
Oil water.
Oil water.
Yes.
So is it going to address the problem in a big way? Because I think it's one of the important problems, right? Like, but is it only a proof of concept that the material is hydrophobic and you are able to separate oil water, or is there any practical utility of it?
Yes, ma'am. So actually, in the markets also there are graphene coated foams which can do this process. So taking that as an inspiration, so we have attempted this to verify the inherent property of reduced carbon monoxide. And on a larger scale, yes, it is possible, and also it is being doing. It is being under use.
Okay. So, going with these pads, do you think it is the best way to use for this particular application? Because one would really like a macroscopic material in hand to do the job, right?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, this
Is it planned for a specific application?
it was planned for the usage in chemiluminescence, and this is for the time being it was a proof of principle for this work.
That's what I thought. Like just to show it is hydrophobic and able to.
Correct.
Because otherwise, separation actually here doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then next one. In Ag nanoparticles which you synthesized, you said it was stable for 2 years.
Yes.
What makes them stable?
So as an so first thing is the factor that affects the aging is the presence of reducing agent, or the if the reaction is continuing when you store it. So that is the main cause for the aging. So if you prevent the reaction at the aging period, so that is how we can produce, like we can go for longer stable periods. So in this case, our reducing agent, which was used as which was sodium borohydride. So if you see in the final outcome, so it was no more present in the solution. So this we are already seen through the UVBs also. So this is the advantage of microfluidics. So you can properly control the flow, because to keep it very simple again. So for example, for
But other than that, like aggregation may happen and particles may get unstable. What is keeping them dispersed in the solution? Like NaBH4, I understand you are trying to say that there is no excess of NaBH4 other than nanoparticles.
So we are also using the stabilizing agent, sodium citrate as the stabilizing agent.
Okay. Okay, then it should be fine. So there is no. So basically, your point is that there is no possibility of any more reaction to it.
Yes. Yes. Because if you see the conditions over here, for 2 ml of liquid, there is only 5 microliter, which is adding as the reducing agent. So this is the difference.
So another question on this slide, if you see the top ones, 1 millimolar curve, the peaks are getting broadened and with the shoulder.
Correct.
Is it like mixed particles?
These are the agglomerated particles during the optimization. So that is the reason when we are doing this, so we have took the curve which is sharp enough and not broad. So from this concentration we have choose 0.5 as our the final optimized one, but not as the 0.7 and 1, even though they are getting the good concentration of nanoparticles. So we have just discarded these two and we have used 0.5 to carry out the further study. Similarly, in the case of 10, 15 and 20, we have taken the 20, even though this is close to lesser intensity, but still we have the good particle size, because we agree that the nanoparticle size decreases with the decrease in the wavelength.
So other question here is like if you are saying claiming that you have a very good control on the particle size and distribution, right?
Yes.
So but if you see the graph, UV visible spectra, at low concentration your intensity is decreasing. Also the peak width is changing, like peak width is narrower for smaller concentration and it's broader for higher concentration, right?
Yes.
So is it like concentration is decreasing and at the same time dispersity of particles is also changing? So have you tried to optimize this, like keeping the concentration high but uniform particles? You got my question? Like, can I get mono-dispersed particles at high concentration?
So when we were doing this study, so we were interested to get the nanoparticles close to 15 to 30 nanometers. So that was our interest. But other than that, we have the various sizes also. Like depending on this data, depending on this calibration data, we have the similar changes in the nanometer size. So it actually, you are rightly pointed. So depending on the change in the width, so we are getting the change in the size of nanoparticles.
Because this particular A graph is not showing me a good control.
So this is only the optimization of one concentration now. So this is actually here we have the final one. So these are actually the first concentration changes of silver precursor, keeping the sodium borohydride as constant. So we
Okay, and another question is, what is this 260 nanometer peak corresponding to?
So this was due to the presence of sodium borohydride. So this is what I was mentioning, that this should be avoided in the mixture, in the final mixture.
Okay. Fine. So just a few more questions because I am supposed to ask. Okay, so go to your slide number 42. So you said you showed some quantification of antioxidant. What is the error bar on this values? Yeah, there 42 slide. You were showing comparison, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this 0.3 to 1, 0.38 to, what is the error bar?
This is changing the CL signals now. Again, this was manually controlled, so these are the changes in the intensities.
Okay. So you have quantified green tea or like this 0.382 what you highlighted here? This is what you calculated, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is calculated.
So you don't have any error bar on these values?
So actually, we have calculated from going back to the calibration curve, because depending on the unknown concentration, we have put this unknown concentration value in the calibration curve, and from there we got this value. So that is the reason I was not having the error bar for this. There is a deviation.
Because both of them are 0.3, so how far, how accurate these values are to be compared with what is the error scale here? Because these are in micrograms.
Yes.
So you said one is higher than the other.
Basically,
Is it really true?
We have just compared with the color and this value of the second digit value.
No, scientifically, how do you evaluate in terms of values? Because I wanted to know the error bar here. Because you have, if you see your CL intensity, that error bar is quite large. And if you have converted it from the CL intensity and calibration scale, then would it be so accurate?
So
To the third decimal place.
To the second decimal place. Actually, we have used these equations, the calibration equations.
Yeah, I got, this is like standard way of using the calibration.
Correct.
Okay, fine. So please look into this.
Yeah, sure.
And then this particular, this one also, here you showed two ranges of linearity. So one at the lower range, it is 0 to 1 nanomolar, and from 1 nanomolar you are directly going. Okay, so this is, sorry, I think it's fine, it's 100 nanometers, no molar scale. I have read it wrongly probably. Fine. So now, how do you take care of these two different linearities?
So the standard protocol, ma'am, first will go till the lower limit of detection that the device can go, and then from there we have taken the linear range that is sufficient to get the real-time data, and after that we moved on to increasing it just to understand how far we can go with the this protocol, the concentration. So because it's a kind of quenching based mechanism, so as the concentration increases, so the CL signals will come down.
Okay, another question is, what is the sensitivity of H2O2 detection required for for food samples? Like what is the usual levels which are present?
So ma'am, they are like in blood they are around 10 to 30 micromolar, and in the food, in milk we have detected, so it was close to 0.04 to 0.05% in milk.
And where are you lying here?
So we have a range, ma'am. So we have done the studies from 50 nanomolar to 1000 micromolar. So we fall in this range actually.
So nanomolar is basically not needed, right?
Not needed. It is not needed, but still we wanted to show the sensitivity.
So is there any application where nanomolar detection is important for antioxidants? Have you thought of anything?
Right now, ma'am, we didn't see, but there can be, because in cellular level, in that case it is reactive oxygen species which are active in that case. So maybe if you want to monitor the cellular damage or cell growth, so in that case this might be helpful.
Okay, because otherwise there are so many sensors in the market, and when you are developing something, you are trying to make it more sensitive, and that sensitivity level, is it really needed?
It is not needed for this application, ma'am, but definitely it is needed for the in vivo applications.
Okay, so fine. I think you have done very good work in terms of developing prototypes. I really liked it, and so very nice work. And that's all from my side. So maybe others can ask.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Gupta. Thank you so much. Professor Mitra, would you like to have any questions?
Thank you so much. Excellent. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sai, wonderful presentation, very impactful work, and you are working hard for a number of years. Terrific job. Maybe my question is more towards forward thinking, like where do you see this work going forward in terms of next stage and so forth?
Thank you, sir. So till now, we were working with the smartphone-based devices, but to make it a remote accessible and fully integrated device and fully controlled device, so we are focusing now on like making some more iterations on this particular device. So the primary aim would be that to not replace, but as an alternative to the conventional chemiluminescence or chemitox. So this device can be used for that kind of applications.
Is there any plan in terms of creating commercialization pathways and things like that?
Sorry, sir.
Commercialization.
Yeah.
Is there any plan for commercialization pathways and things like that
Yes,
to take this up to the next level?
Yes, sir. Actually, like we are in the process. So we are also in communication with the vendors. So to make the device look even more better, with whatever skills we have done till this, and we wanted to make it look better, and then create a standard protocol for detecting a particular kind of analyte, and then we wanted to go from there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. No, I think I don't have any other questions. The thesis was very comprehensive and documents. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you so much, Professor Mitra, and of course, Professor Gupta. So, Professor Gupta, what's your views? Should we declare Sai's thesis as successful, and is he eligible to be called as Dr. Pavar Saikumar?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
a nice piece of work, and I really appreciate and also congratulate the candidate for wonderful work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you so much.
And congratulations to all the supervisors as well.
Yes, thank you so much. Without that, it wouldn't be possible. So, thank you so much, Professor Gupta and Professor Mitra. I'm missing Professor Madhapusi here. He's traveling and he said he won't be able to join. But let's announce Sai as Dr. Pavar Saikumar, and I hope he will be worthy for his title, and wish him all the best. Thank you so much. Yeah. So So, Professor Gupta, I think our team will send you some papers. I think it's the last thing to bother you for signatures and so on. So I hope you can.
Sure, definitely. I'll do the process.
Yes, thank you so much. And Professor Gupta, thank you so much. And sorry to bother you during the wee hours again.
No, no worries. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and then we definitely will be in touch to
Absolutely.
explore more collaboration opportunities. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. All the best. Take care. Terrific meeting you, Professor Ritu, as well.
Yes, and thank you so much, everyone. And we'll sign off. And,
Okay. Bye. Bye.
have a